I release between 5 to 10 videos every day, and I do 3 to 4 live streams per week to teach you guys about audio, video, lighting. People normally pay me $150 to $250 per hour for advice on how to do this stuff. You get my advice for $0 because I want to help you out. So cheers to all of you. Beautiful. So the next effect that we're going to be talking about is an exciter filter. So what are exciter filters? The RODECaster Pro has an exciter built into it, and there are exciter filters in all sorts of software and hardware out there. What do? Well, basically what they do is they make the low end of your audio boomier, and they make the mid-high range of your audio sound more exciting, more stimulating sounding. It's an effect that is applied on top of your audio to make the low end and the high end more thrilling. And it's just designed to catch the attention of your viewer. Let me show you how this works in the RODECaster Pro mixer physically. Then I'll show you how you can manipulate these effects digitally. Awesome? Perfect. So here physically in the mixer, if you want to do it's called the APHEX exciter and big bottom, click the channel number 1, or whatever channel your microphone's plugged into, and it'll pop up this menu where you can select any number of effects. Go ahead and select the APHEX filter or APHEX filter, and there are 2 filters that are built in here. You've got the Aural exciter, and you've got the big bottom. Both of these I think are important and are unique features of the RODECaster Pro mixer that make it better than other mixers. Watch what happens when I turn this off. This is without the exciter on. Oh my God, right? Like, do you hear the difference in the way the audio sounds? Let me turn the big bottom off. This is the way it sounds without the big bottom. Do you hear how hollow the audio sounds without the exciter on and without the big bottom on? So in my opinion, out of all of the effects, I'm going to turn it back on because it's even hard to listen to by comparison without those effects on. Without these effects on, this mixer, the RODECaster Pro mixer, has far less impact on your audio than it would without that effect on, okay? So if you only remember one thing that you need to tweak in terms of your audio, get the levels right, check the right microphone, and make sure you get your settings up and running with the Aural exciter and the big bottom in your RODECaster Pro mixer to make it sound absolutely fantastic, okay? So let's go over the initial settings here with both of these. I'm going to make sure that they're set both on factory default. Great, and they are. So with the Aural exciter, you need to really put on a pair of headphones and listen to how this impacts your audio, because this is all subjective, okay? So the tune is basically which part of your audio it is emphasizing and making more exciting, okay? So if you move this up to the high end, it's making the higher end of your audio more exciting. If you move this down to the lower end, as you can hear, it's making the lower end of your audio more exciting. If you put it in the middle, it makes the middle part of your audio more exciting, etc. So this is selecting where in the sound field, where in the frequencies it's going to impact your audio the most. So generally speaking, you want this to be in the kind of mid-high-ish range. 3600 hertz is a good spot for it to be in. If you want to have crispier sounding highs in your audio, you can bump this up to about 4000 and hear how clear I start sounding. You can move this up even if you want a little bit more, up to 4500. Notice how the highs are getting a little higher. If you move it all the way up to 5000, notice how the very highest highs in my audio now sound crispier. They now sound more clear. But the mid-end doesn't sound as good now. It sounds kind of hollow in the middle. So a good middle-of-the-road setting, in my opinion, is the default frequency range of 3600. I actually have a hard time getting a better setting than that. I'll go over these in more detail in a moment, but big bottom is very similar. With the tune field in big bottom, if you move this down, the lower it goes there, the lower the bottom, if you will, on your big bottom audio effect. The higher you go up here, the higher your bottom of the audio is, okay? And if you move it all the way up, as you can hear, it makes the low end drive that it adds a little bit higher, Okay, I actually like turning this one up a little bit. It makes you sound more broadcastery, as you can hear. This is the hardware version of how to affect all of this. I find it easier to use in the software version. So if you download the RODECaster Pro companion app, you go click up here in the corner and open Effects Editor. That's how you can open up this effects menu that we're talking about here. Then you select your microphone, minus RODECaster Pro microphone number 1. And then you're going to do all of your effects for Aural Exciter, which is going to be the high-end exciter, and Big Bottom, which is going to be the low-end exciter. Okay? So on the high end, excuse me, I recommend leaving this at about 3600, but you can choose how much it affects the way you sound. What do I mean by that? So if you adjust the harmonics field, I'll show it to you. And you turn this up. I'm going to turn it all the way up. As you can hear, it makes it sound more musical, if you will. I sound even more musical than I did before. And if I turn it down to nothing, it doesn't have that sort of vibration, that vibrato effect in the exciter. So you can choose how much you like the way that that sounds, but let me turn it all the way down so you can hear the difference. This is Andrew Wall. Hi, my name is Andrew Wall. This is harmonics all the way down. Hi, this is Andrew Wall, and this is harmonics all the way up. So if you turn it all the way up, as you can hear, it gets very aggressive with how it affects your audio. And so if you're going to go up that high, that aggressive with that field, you may want to turn the mix down. So if you go mix all the way up, oh God, that sounds terrible. And if you go mix all the way down, you can't hear it at all. And so if you want to go mix somewhere in the middle, this can help you find a good middle range, okay? To where you can hear the exciter taking place here. Here's the exciter off. Here's the exciter on. Here's the exciter off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the exciter on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To where the exciter it has a presence in your audio, but it doesn't hurt your ears, okay? And so somewhere around, I think harmonics around 60 is good, 60 to 70 if you want to do that. And then the mix somewhere around 40 to 50 is about as much as I can recommend. I would say a 70-40 is about the highest end you want to go with this field, in my opinion. So a good middle of the road setting is 60-40 with 60 harmonics and 40 mix. But if you want to go a little bit more aggressive, you can go 70 harmonics and 40 mix. But I don't recommend going above 40 mix right here. These are the best Aural exciter settings in my experience. With this particular microphone, your mileage may vary. Now, on the big bottom side, I like having a big bottom that is higher up. So listen to the difference here. If I turn this all the way down, this is the way it sounds with the tune all the way down. And then if I turn this all the way up, this is the way it sounds with the tune all the way up. Here's the big bottom off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the big bottom on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Personally, I like big bottom up because it makes the, I don't like low audio. People generally can't hear it. They're listening on their phone. So the higher you have the tune in big bottom, the more the average person can hear this effect. So I recommend turning it all the way up, actually. Then for drive, watch what happens when I do the drive. Drive all the way down, and it doesn't really have much of an effect. Drive all the way up, and now all of a sudden that big bottom has a huge presence down there, and you can really hear it. And if you turn the mix up, as you can hear, whoa, you hear what it's doing? Whoa. You hear all of that bottom? Oh my God, that's getting super loud, right? You can't turn the mix up too high, okay, guys? You can't turn the mix up too high. Otherwise, it really starts to become a problem. So what you want to do is you want to find a good middle of the road setting here, like a 60-40, etc. with the mix, maybe 60-30, to where it is boosting the low end of your audio, but it's not getting too aggressive. It's not getting too aggressive. So I'm going to turn the drive up. I've got the mix at about 30, and I think this is a good middle of the road setting here for this. And if I turn the drive down, it doesn't sound quite as aggressive. And if I turn it all the way up, it starts to sound way more aggressive. So I'm going to drop it down here until it sounds like it's in a nice, perfect spot, which is about a 50-30, in my opinion. Maybe like a 50-30 is a great middle of the road setting with big bottom. There you go. Those are the optimal settings. You can choose what you want to sound like, and those are those two settings combined. So just the final impact of this is like this. If I turn these effects off, this is the way it sounds without the Aural exciter. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My name is Awall, digital consultant. Hi. And this is the way it sounds with these filters on. In my opinion, it sounds significantly better with all those filters on. Okay? So that's how you use the APHEX audio processing right here in the RODECaster Pro mixer. Cool?